The Market Factory: How Crypto Turns Everything into an Exchange. Summary statement: crypto is not merely creating new assets, it is industrializing the creation of markets themselves. Each protocol functions as a miniature economy: Bitcoin as a market for money, Ethereum as a market for computation, Chainlink as a market for data, Render as a market for GPU power, and Bittensor as a market for intelligence. But not all markets are equal. Under Preemptive Infrastructure Theory, only those that deliver immediate yield while enabling a future harvest, real present utility with long-term optionality, qualify as true infrastructure. The rest, from speculative social tokens to short-lived hype experiments, reveal the limits of tokenizing clout without substance. This exposition reframes crypto as a civilization-scale market factory, where the ethical and structural question is not what can be tokenized, but what deserves to become a market at all. Section 1. The Age of Market Proliferation. The 20th century industrialized production. The 21st is industrializing exchange. If factories once converted raw materials into finished goods, crypto protocols now convert possibilities into markets. Every token, every liquidity pool, every decentralized application is an assembly line for value formation. The question that once drove the internet, what can be digitized, has evolved. The question now driving Web3 is, what can be marketized? Bitcoin turned money itself into a self-sustaining market. Ethereum transformed computation into one. Chainlink built a marketplace for truth data. NFTs created markets for uniqueness. And newer protocols like Render and Bittensor extend the logic further. Markets for compute, markets for intelligence. But as the speed of market creation accelerates, so does the danger of meaninglessness. Not every act of tokenization creates value. Some markets become scaffolds for civilization, others become noise. Section 2. The Anatomy of a Market Factory. Every market, whether digital or physical, requires 3 ingredients. First, a scarce or valuable asset, the thing being traded. Second, an exchange mechanism, the system that facilitates trade. And third, an incentive structure, the reason participants contribute liquidity, data, or work. Crypto protocols industrialize all 3 simultaneously. They are self-assembling factories that mint new assets, spin up exchanges, and align incentives in real time. Part A. Asset type categories. What's being tokenized? There are 8 major asset categories. 1. Monetary assets, such as Bitcoin and stablecoins. Digital money and collateral that form the foundation layer for all other value systems. 2. Digital goods and NFTs, which include tokenized uniqueness, either one-of-ones, meaning digital originals, or collections, meaning series-based economies. NFTs are formats of tokenization, not the markets themselves. 3. Data feeds, represented by projects like Chainlink and API 3, markets for verified information turning truth into a tradable good. 4. Compute power, as seen in Render and Akash, markets for decentralized GPU or cloud computing. 5. Machine intelligence, led by Bittensor, a marketplace for artificial intelligence models and inference power. 6. Bridged real-world assets, such as tokenized gold, treasuries, or real estate, analog assets that have been bridged from the physical economy into digital form. 7. Prediction claims, like those traded on Polymarket or Augur, markets for probabilistic truth, where users trade on the likelihood of future events. 8. Identity and reputation, including projects such as WorldCoin and Proof of Personhood, tokenizing human identity as a verifiable and scarce digital resource. Each asset type defines a new substrate for exchange, a digital field where liquidity, speculation, and coordination can emerge. Part B. Marketplace type categories. How exchange occurs. There are 8 core marketplace types, each defined by its trading mechanism and examples. 1. Centralized exchanges, EX, operate custodially with off-chain matching. Examples include Binance and Coinbase. 2. Decentralized exchanges, DEX, manage on-chain order flow in a non-custodial manner. Examples include Hyperliquid and DYDX. 3. Automated market makers, AMM, use liquidity pools and algorithmic pricing to enable peer-to-pool trades. Examples include Uniswap and Curve. 4. Central limit order book markets, CLUB, apply traditional order matching logic implemented either fully on-chain or with hybrid off-chain components. Examples include DYDX version 4 and Vertex. But 5. Prediction markets allow trading of contracts based on event outcomes with examples such as Polymarket. 6. Real-world asset marketplaces, RWA, handle tokenized collateral and real yield instruments, seen in projects like Centrifuge, Ondo, and Maple. 7. Social and access markets tokenize social reach or reputation, exemplified by Friend.tech and BitClout. 8. Infrastructure markets, also known as DePIN, enable decentralized exchange of compute, storage, bandwidth, or mobility resources, seen in Render, Filecoin, and Helium. Every combination of an asset type and a marketplace type creates a new digital economy. That is the essence of the Market Factory. This content is brought to you by Bobby Giggs. Promote your brand here and reach a wide audience across platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow the links in the description to get started. Section 3. The filter, Preemptive Infrastructure Theory. Preemptive Infrastructure Theory, or PIT, asserts that foundational systems must be built before their full utility is known, but their legitimacy depends on delivering immediate yield while also enabling a future harvest. In crypto terms, immediate yield means tangible, present-day value. For example, users getting cheaper compute, faster settlement, or verifiable data. Future harvest means compounding optionality for downstream innovation. For example, new DeFi primitives or applications built atop these systems. The ethical test, then, is whether a protocol contributes value now while expanding potential for later. Markets that fail both tests, such as speculative social fi tokens or empty influencer coins, are parasitic. They extract attention and liquidity but produce no enduring infrastructure. By contrast, markets that meet both criteria, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, and Bittensor, lay genuine civilizational groundwork. Section 4. The collapse of shallow markets. The wreckage of BitClout and Friend.tech illustrates what happens when tokenization outpaces substance. Both projects attempted to financialize clout, a social signal with no intrinsic yield. Their tokens had speculative liquidity, but no utility loop. Once hype faded, markets collapsed because nothing of value remained to trade. The broader SocialFi winter proved a simple law. A market cannot survive on speculation alone. It must clear for something real. Liquidity without legitimacy is vapor. The Market Factory, left unchecked, can mass-produce bubbles just as easily as breakthroughs. Section 5. The ethical architecture of future markets. Future builders must ask 2 questions before minting a token or spinning up a new market. First, what is the immediate yield? Who benefits today and how? Second, what is the future harvest? What downstream systems or opportunities does this enable? A protocol that only speculates on future benefit becomes a Ponzi of intention. A system that offers only short-term yield without extensibility becomes a dead end for innovation. The next generation of crypto infrastructure must pursue dual sustainability, both economic and ethical. Markets should enrich the present and expand the possible. Section 6. The responsibility of builders. Crypto is humanity's first programmable market engine. We can now summon liquidity around anything: energy, data, compute, ideas, even identity itself. That is both miracle and menace. The Market Factory gives civilization the power to industrialize exchange, but also to industrialize speculation. Which side of that divide we build on will determine whether crypto becomes the plumbing of the future or the Ponzi of history. The next era will not be defined by what is traded, but by what deserves to become a market at all.